I brought you out here to talk to you. See how you are? How you feeling? About us? About you and me and about, what we do?
So, Season 2 started with Rock on top of the game. It seemed like she had everything figured out. Business was booming, Unique and Howard were out the way, so she thought anyway. But since then, she's taken on a hell of a lot of responsibility, and it really is impossible to keep eyes on every single little thing. And now she finds herself in a position where she's slowly losing control. In terms of the street game, it comes down to a bit of poor planning and her taking the eye off the game, and that means there's been a lot more distance between Rock and Kanan. So we saw Kanan entering Detective Howard's house at the end of episode 4, and so did Rock. And now going into episode 5, maybe we'll find out what they spoke about, or maybe not. But regardless, Rock knows that she needs to do something to bring Kanan back on side. So essentially that's what episode 5 will center around in the Catskills. So we're gonna run through some exclusive images, some quotes, and what we can expect for episode 5. Now the title is What Happens in the Catskills, and the synopsis reads, Rock focuses on mother and son bonding with Kanan in the Catskills, but they're interrupted when business follows them. Crown disrespects Lou, bringing their simmering beef to a boil. Detective Burke digs into Howard's personal life. So what happens in the Catskills stays in the Catskills, and this is where I expect the action to pick up a bit of pace. Episode 5 normally is a big one, so let's wait and see because I do expect a death or two. Now let's just start with this exclusive clip that was released earlier in the week, which is Rock talking to Kanan.
We share everything. It's you.
You want to share everything with me too.
All you gotta do is ask.
So this was Rock trying to reconnect with Kanan, and you can obviously tell there definitely is a bit of distance between them, and it all stems from the lies on top of more lies. And where we hear Rock telling Kanan he's the heir to her throne, I just see this as Rock trying to use Kanan's hunger of being in the game as a way of keeping him from Detective Howard, which is a bit of a fucked up thing to do. But we all know Rock by now. She'll do anything to keep him away from finding out the truth. And even though both of them said they won't keep secrets from one another, I highly doubt Rock is going to tell him the truth now, not after she's come this far with her lies and manipulation. But Kanan's learning from his mom, and now he's keeping secrets of his own. And this is what Mackay Curtis had to say on his relationship with Rock. The base of it goes back to how a mother knows her son, and how a son knows his mother. The story we're telling in Raising Kanan is how a family sticks together. It's a crime drama, but it's also about this mother wanting to protect her son, and her son wanting to protect her mother. Now as a son and as a man, your mother is your first love, so with that, you know how they take and learn certain nuances of that person. And in the case of Rock and Kanan, Kanan's been around long enough and he's also privy enough to know when things aren't necessarily what they are. He can kind of read through Rock's poker face, and that's where you see them. She knows that he can read through her poker face, and he knows that she can read through his poker face. It's this constant back and forth of Rock trying to keep that persona, being the head in charge, while also being a vulnerable mother. And this scene really is a game of poker, but will either of them break? But just like Mackay Curtis said, he's taken nuances from his mom. So now we're watching Kanan lie and steal. He stole some product, and then he stole money, and now he's getting to the point where he's getting noticed by Marvin. So fingers will start to be pointed in different directions, and it may not be Kanan's. Rock is someone who seems like she's quick to jump to conclusions in season 2. So with Lou having money issues himself, I really wouldn't be surprised if she pointed fingers in his direction. But while they're at the Catskills, the trouble that Rock started with Salvacelli and the Italian mafia will definitely follow. And I really wouldn't be surprised if this girl Hannah is undercover, because the way to get to Rock is through the prince. We all know Unique is working with the Italians, and he's someone who also know Kanan is Rock's biggest weakness. So I really wouldn't be surprised if he's the one who's given them the heads up on how they can attack Rock. But this will end in a death of someone, whether it's Hannah, whether it's the guy who Rock has a knife to. We're gonna see Kanan either catch his first real body, or it's gonna be Rock. But just moving away from Rock and Kanan, this is an image from episode 5 of Detective Howard talking to Andrea. Now, Andrea is the woman he's been sleeping with for years, and in her character description, it reads, everything Andrea does in her life is for a teenage son, which means she has to make tough decisions to build a better life for him. and it's clear that even though she's someone who Howard's been paying to sleep with for years, Howard's learning a lot from Andrea in terms of her relationship she has with her teenage son, in the hope that maybe it'll help him build a better relationship with Kanan. So that's Andrea's role, but lurking around the corner will no doubt be Detective Burke. We saw how she followed Andrea in episode 3, and no doubt she'll probably do something similar in episode 5, because the synopsis does say Burke will dig into Howard's personal life, and the only secrets we know she could potentially find out is his relationship he had with Rock, and how Kanan really is her son. And I do expect her to find out the truth, maybe not in episode 5, but she'll definitely get closer. Now, this was another image that was released from episode 5, which is described as Lulu being a man on a mission as he meets Crown, and we all know the issues between both of them. Lou muscled his way into owning 50% of the label. They both have different ideas of how they want to run things. There's Crown, who was sleeping with Jessica, and in the end, sent her to LA. But now he's also making more shady moves behind Lou's back, and no doubt, Rock may be involved, and maybe also Cartier. So we're gonna see this beef reach a boiling point, and even though Crown has a piece in hand, does he dare to use it? Because if he does, then he forces Lou's hand, and let's just say, it really won't end well for Crown. Now, elsewhere in episode 5, we need to keep our eyes on Famous. I really do think Famous could get tangled up with law enforcement, because at some point, I do expect them to realize Rock's product is on the street, being sold through Famous's mixtapes. Rock's been working hard to keep her business off the streets and into the projects. But ironically, you got Kanan and Famous, who's bringing it back onto the streets. So I do expect this to have some sort of consequence. Now, we're also going to see Marvin reach out to Renee, and this was an exclusive clip that was released earlier in the week.
I have a daughter.
I'm aware. She's a teenager, correct?
Whatever the fuck she is, she won't talk to me no more. I did some shit she never gonna forgive me for. Shit that she shouldn't probably forgive me for. Not no sex shit, though. I mean, or nothing like that.
So, will Marvin be able to patch things up with Duke, or will her relationship with Kenya somewhat get in the way? There's definitely a lot to learn from Duke, Kenya, and Marvin, and how it impacts the wider Thomas family, because Rock really did turn Duke's smile upside down in episode 4. But that's a preview of episode 5, and one which will probably focus on relationships across the board, from Rock and Kanan, Howard and Andrea, Lou and Crown, and more of Duke, Kenya, and Marvin. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, as well as your predictions. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.